Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. So today at the CIC, we have great pleasure in welcoming all of you. It's a very, very interesting topic, and you might be intrigued by the topic heading, Chambal Dacoits and Temple Reconstruction. Now, without taking away the thunder from our main speaker, I will not reveal the secret as yet, but I'm sure you're in for a very interesting hour of discussion where we will go through all the experience, the rich experience that our speaker, Mr. Mahmood, has. So, before that, let me give a brief biodata of Shri Muhammad. He retired from the Archaeological Survey of India as Regional Director North in 2012. Is known for archaeological excavations and conservation works for which he was conferred Padma Shri in 2019. He was also awarded India Harmony Award 2014, and during his distinguished career, he excavated Ibadat Khana, the hall of inter-religious discussions where Akbar the Great promulgated the composite religion known as Deen-e-Ilahi. He also located and excavated the first Christian church of North India built by Akbar at Fatehpur Sikri. As superintending archaeologist in Bihar, he excavated a Buddhist stupa at Kesaria where Lord Buddha had handed over his begging bowl to the people of Vaishali. He discovered a new Buddhist stupa at Rajgir, and it assumed importance as a broken relic casket was reported from here. He conserved Samlur Temple at Dantewada in Jagdalpur, working with the Naxal group of the area in 2003. He reconstructed 80 temples of Chambal Valley with the help of dreaded dacoits of the area. This is considered a milestone in the field of conservation. Of the 4 transplantations so far executed in India, Shri Muhammad has the distinction of heading 2 of them, namely Kurdi Mahadev Temple in Goa and the Chaubis Avatar Temple at Omkareshwar in Madhya Pradesh. Due to his excellent track record, the ASI deemed it fit to entrust him with the conservation of Delhi monuments on the occasion of Commonwealth 2010. In Delhi, Shri Muhammad attracted the attention of American President Barack Obama by running slum schools for the laborers working in the monuments for its conservation. To his credit, he has 3 international awards and 7 national awards. I'll just mention them for you. The SARC Environmental Award for Conservation of Bateshwar Temples by the Foundation of SARC Writers and Literature. The Sri Lanka Mahabodhi Society Award 2010 for invaluable contribution and effort in resurrecting the ancient Buddhist heritage of Mahabharata. Reach Foundation Award by the Board of Trustees in Chennai. And on the national awards, he has the National Award for maintaining Sanchi Stupa, a World Heritage Site, as the best maintained and tourist-friendly monument. National Award for maintaining Qutub Minar as the best maintained and tourist-friendly monument in 2007. The National Award for the first barrier-free monument in Qutub Minar. The National Award for maintaining Humayun's tomb as the best maintained and tourist-friendly monument. Citizen Journalist Award given by Network 18. An Award of Citizen Journalist for running slum schools. National Award for maintaining Red Fort as the best maintained and tourist-friendly monument. And a State Award from the Government of Madhya Pradesh for tourist-friendly archaeologist. I have great pleasure in welcoming Shri Muhammad to the stage. In conversation with him, we have an equally accomplished, I would call him a young person, Madhusudanan Kalaichelvan from our own Namma Chennai. He is an architectural graduate and a gold medalist in his post-graduation. He specializes in conservation and architectural research. He has been an academic for almost a decade, mentoring students of popular schools of architecture. He is an active heritage enthusiast and his contributions have earned him several awards and accolades. He is the youngest recipient of the coveted Vedavalli Memorial Award for Outstanding Service by a young achiever in the field of South Indian heritage in 2018. He received the title Ilakkiya Chemmal, recognizing his mastery over Tamil literature in 2019. He is the first recipient of Professor Swaminathan Award in 2020 for his service in the field of heritage and culture. His guru, Shri Dharmapuram Adinam conferred the title Saiva Tamil Arinyar in 2022 and appointed him as the Adina Pulavar in 2023. He is well versed in the fields of art, architecture, heritage, cultural studies, and vernacular practices. He is also a popular speaker on a wide range of topics associated with heritage, religion, culture, and literature. His illustrated lectures conducted online are quite popular among students of architecture, culture, and heritage. Through his initiative, Radham, Road Access to Temples, Heritage, and Monuments, he curates and conducts tours to places of architectural and cultural heritage since 2012. He has been writing columns on popular print media covering subjects like epigraphy, lesser known temples, and archaeology. He is currently pursuing his doctoral research on temple town planning and also serves on government instituted panels for conservation of temples in Tamil Nadu. Madhusudanan has been nominated as a member of the Academic Council of Tamil Nadu Dr. J. Jayalalitha Music and Fine Arts University. Please put your hands together for Madhusudanan Kalachelvan, who will be moderating the discussion after our main speaker has finished his presentation. Now, before I invite Mr. Muhammad to the stage to make his presentation, we have a small felicitation for him from the Shastra University. I invite Dr. Vaidya Subramaniam to come and honor our esteemed guest.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chandramouli. Thanks for being charitable to accommodate my request as part of this event this evening. A couple of months back, I had gotten in touch with Mr. K.K Muhammed, and it was the cultural wing of Shastra, which is called Shastra Satsang, desire to honor 10 Ramayana scholars on January 22nd, which we did in our Chennai campus. 8 of them were closely associated with the Ram Bhakti movement, and the remaining 2 with the Ram Temple movement. The 2 being Dr. Nagaswamy, whom we honored posthumously on January 22nd, and the second is Mr. K.K. Muhammed himself. The first award was the Rama Bhakti Pracharamani, was given to 8 distinguished scholars, while this award is Pratna Kirti Pracharamani for his outstanding contributions by way of significant material that culminated into a report that resulted in what we saw on January 22nd. And in honor of his contributions to that phenomenal work, the Shastra Satsang takes pride in conferring the title Pratna Kirti Pracharamani on Mr. K.K. Muhammed, who was unable to attend the event on January 22nd because he was in Ayodhya at that point of time. And I thank CIC for allowing me to present the award today, and eagerly look forward to his lecture. And one more thing, this award carries a cash purse of rupees 35,000. The 35,000 number is the olden days, Varahan means 3.5 rupees. So we decided we'll give 10,000 Varahan. So it is 35,000. But Mr. Mohammed said, I am not going to take that. You please use that money for any deserving Ram temple in Tamil Nadu. So a big round of applause for that as well. So thank you very much.
Dr. Vaidya Subramaniam, sir, the moving spirit and guiding beam of the entire program. Shri Chandramouli, sir, of the CIC, my friend Madhusudanji, and we have a very important person here. I don't know how many of you know him. He's Mr. Vijay Kumar of India Pride. And he has done more work in bringing many of the stolen sculptures from various parts of the world. I don't know how many of you know him. He has done tremendous work in the field of bringing many of the stolen from America, from France, from various other countries. So, and then we have got a number of people, both elders and youngsters also. Thank you, sir, very much for giving me an opportunity to speak to all of you. I don't find any lamp to light the lamp, but we can invoke him, Deep Jyoti, Param Jyoti, Deep Jyoti Janardana, Deepo Hartu Me Paap, Deep Jyoti Namostude. Friends, it is a pleasant personal pleasure and privilege for me to come to Chennai, my good old Madras, where I had the privilege of working almost for 2.5 years. And then I was transferred on a punishment to the western coast of India. And the sin I had done was that in 1990, on 15th of December, while the Ram temple issue was hotting up, some of the scholars of JNU and Aligarh Muslim University tried to misguide the people and misguide the country. So the Professor B.B. Lal, who was the excavator of Ayodhya, he came out with his own version and contradicted them. I was a government servant at that time in Chennai, in Madras. I was a deputy superintending archaeologist under my Dr. B. Narasimhaya. He was the superintending archaeologist. I gave a statement stating that I was part and parcel of the excavation team of Professor B.B. Lal. We have got a number of things associated with the temples, and we are pretty sure that there was a temple below the mosque. That was my mistake. And then I questioned the communist historians of those period, and I said they don't have any kind of domain competence to speak on a subject which is purely technical. That is archaeology. They are all historians. They don't have any domain competence. And then I also added that Ayodhya is as important for Hindus as Makkah and Medina are for Muslims. Hence, Muslims should willingly hand over the site for the construction of the temple. For the Muslim community, it is simply a mosque associated with Babur. Had it been associated with Prophet Muhammad, the founder of Islam, of course, Muslims also would have had a claim on that. The second most important people in Islam are 4 Khalifas or 4 Caliphs: Hazrat Abu Bakr, Hazrat Umar, Hazrat Usman, and Hazrat Ali. If Ayodhya had any kind of association with those people also, Muslims would have had a claim. Or with some kind of awliyas, with some kind of dargahs, they would have had. But for them, it has no association of that kind, and it is simply a mosque, that's all, nothing more than that. So this statement of mine, that was a terrible blow to the entire group of communist historians. Earlier, they used to carry the day. But for the first time, they were questioned, and it was a terrible blow for them, and they did not reply at all. So that was a mistake from my side because I was a government servant, I should not have said so clearly on such a sensitive issue. So the secretary at that time was Mr. R.C. Tripathi. He said, Mr. Muhammad, I am going to suspend you right now. You are a government servant. How did you make such a statement? I told him, sir, I had no bad intention. My purpose was, to put things on the right way. And then I just quoted from Bhagavad Gita, Loga samgrahame vapi sambashyan kartumarhasi. Whatever you do for the betterment of the world. He was now furious, Tripathi. He said, I am a Brahmin from Allahabad. Are you teaching me Sanskrit? Then he said, I am going to suspend you right now at this moment because, my probation period was not over. If your probation period is not over, you could be suspended. No, you could be dismissed from the service even without serving a show cause notice. So I was in a very perilous condition. So he said, I am going to suspend you right now. And by the side of him, there was MC Joshi. He was the Director General and he repeated the same thing. We are going to suspend you right now. So then I said, sir, I had done my duty. And what is the result? I am not bothered. And then recited another verse. Swadharme nidanam shreya. I have done my duty. And even death is also, mrityubi, even death is also most welcome for that. Now he was a completely changed person. He said, Muhammad, what you have said is the right thing. And we should be, but you are a government servant. You should not have spoken like that one. You should have taken the permission for that. So I said, sir, I know that it was a mistake. But if I had not done it, no other person would have been there to support it. So I thought that it was my duty. So he said, yes, you have done the right thing. It should have been spoken by an archaeologist. You are an archaeologist. It should have been spoken by a Muslim archaeologist and you are a Muslim archaeologist. But there is instruction to me and there is a lot of pressure upon me that I should take action against you. So this thing was known to Airavadam Mahadevan. He was a very well-known archaeologist and an IAS, great IAS officer also. Unfortunately, Tripathi and other people, they had worked under him. So when he came to know about it, he intervened. And there were some professors, Professor K.V. Raman from Madras University, they all intervened. So my dismissal, that was, for the time being, that was kept in abeyance. And I was transferred from Eastern Coast, that is Madras, to Goa. So that was only this one only with the punishment. And as part of that punishment, I had to go from Madras to Goa. So it is just a digression. But today I'm going to speak to you not about this Ayodhya issue. I'm going to speak to you about the conservation work which is going on in different parts of the country. Because mostly an archaeologist's job, it is two. Number one, exploration and excavation like Ayodhya. And then again, various other sites, because I had the privilege of excavating Ibadat Khana, the place where Akbar had invited people from all the religion, Hindu, Muslim, Christian, Jews, Jains. And then ultimately he evolved a new religion known as the Nelahi. There was a Christian chapel also which Akbar had built. And then so many other things. But I'm not going to speak about all those things, excavations and other things. I'm just going to speak to you about Chambal Valley and the conservation of the temples, challenges of the conservation of these temples in Chambal Valley. Chambal Valley, as you all know, it is almost 5,000 kilometers of area. It is a completely barren land. a maze of barren land, and here you have got huge dunes and dunes and dunes. Can we just shift to this one or PPT? Because I'm short, there is an acute shortage of time, so I'm just skipping certain things. This is a typical North Indian temple, unlike our temples, because we have Dravidian form of God, this one temples. This is a typical North Indian temple, and at the lower part, this is known as Vedibandha. It would be divided into Kura, Kumbha, Kalasha. Then there will be Janga, then there would be Shikara, and then Amalka and Kalasha. This is a typical North Indian temple of 8th, 9th century. Next, please. This is the Chambal area. Here you have dunes and dunes and dunes. And in between you have got pathways also. These pathways are known to dacoits. Even if you depute a police force, they would be trapped and they would be killed. So very few people ventured into the area. And there were near about 200 temples at this site. Next, please. One of the dacoit was Mansingh, legendary Mansingh. Just look at his record, credited with 1,112 robberies and killed 185 murders. He killed 185 people, including 32 police persons. That was the kind of a record which he had created. Nobody could beat him. Next, please. This is Mohar Singh. Mohar Singh passed away 2 years back. And before that, he wrote a letter to the Honorable Prime Minister that the work which was going on in Chambal Valley, that has now come to a grinding halt. Please resume it. And he sent a copy to me also. We were very friendly, so he sent me a copy. But he had surrendered in 1972. And then he joined one political party. When that political party lost the election, he joined the other political party. He was smarter than many of the politicians. So he had near about 200 dacoity cases, but he surrendered in 1970. Next, please. This is Malkan Singh. Malkan Singh is, last time also he fought the election, but he was defeated. But what he used to do is he used to, suppose he wanted to kidnap anybody, he would send a letter to him first in his own letterhead. He used to have a letterhead. So in which there would be, he would be sending a letter, this one, that I would be kidnapping you on such and such date, on such and such time, but provided you don't make this much of amount. So most of the business people, they used to give them amount and save their life. So that is this one, Malkan Singh. Next, please. This is Pan Singh Tomar. He was from the military. He had the military background also. And then he was an Olympian also. He participated in the Asian Olympics. But when he came back, he became a dacoit and then started this one. People accumulated a lot of wealth. And fortunately, because if you want to go to that area, you have to get the express permission of these people. Otherwise, you will not be able to do anything. So I knew the person who had shot him dead. His name was Vijay Raman. Vijay Raman was a very good police officer, very, very important police officer. It was Vijay Raman in an operation which continued 14 hours. It was he who had shot him dead. Vijay Raman was only 32 years at that time, like our Kumar. So he shot him dead. And it was Vijay Raman who had shot dead Ghazi Baba. Who is Ghazi Baba? Ghazi Baba was that Pakistani terrorist who was the mastermind behind the bombing of our Parliament House. So I went to him because his wife was Veena Raman. She was working in the tourism department of Madhya Pradesh. I was posted in Madhya Pradesh. So tourism and Madhya Pradesh, this one, archaeology, they go together. So I approached her. Immediately I got an appointment. And then I told him, sir, this is my problem. So he knew that I am very, very sincere. And there he still keeps, even at that time also, he had many contacts with dacoits. So what he did is, he gave an instruction through his own group of people that Muhammad is my own man. He is coming for the conservation of the temple. He is not going to pass on your own secrets to the police. And that is rest assured, because that is one thing. Informer, if they know that, you are an informer, then next day your dead body would be hanging from the nearby tree. So that is how they used to deal with these people. So I said, I take guarantee one, Muhammad is my man. So with all kinds of trepidation and fear, we went to the area. Next, please. Next. Achha, this is Vijay Raman when he was a decorated police officer and when he was a student. Next, please. And this is that file photo of this one. This is Pan Singh Tomar. Next, please. Of course, we know Phulan Devi, who became an MP also. On a single day, she had killed 20 persons. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. So, few years back, I went to him. This is Veena Raman and this is Vijay Raman. And 1 year back, he passed away also, Vijay Raman. They are in Pune. Next, please. Yeah. And next, please. This is when I went to the area. The most important dacoit was Nirbhay Singh Gujjar. This is Nirbhay Singh Gujjar. He had a group of people, near about 80 people were there along with him. So I had to go because instruction has been given to him also that Muhammad is my man and he is not going to pass on your own secret to other people. He means only conservation of the monuments and that too the temples. Next, please. Sometimes, there will be fighting. There were 3 groups when I went to the area. One was from Rajasthan, 2 were from MP, and 1 group was from UP. Next, please. Next, please. So, with a lot of trepidation, with a lot of fear, when I went to the area, I saw the temples like this one. In a huge earthquake, the entire temple town had come tumbling down like a pack of cards, without sparing anybody to narrate even the harrowing details of the story. It was in such a perilous condition. This is only one photograph, only one frame. Next, please. Just look at it, the way things are lying down. I know there was a temple here where the tree is now. How do I know? Because, I look at it. Here you can see 1 step. Where I have written A, there is 1 step. That means there might have a temple here. Here there is another step, 3C, but there are no temples. Now, my problem is, you have to put a tongue in each and every stone and press that stone to speak to you. Ask the question, where were you when the temple was standing? And then you have to reconstruct them as it was during the 9th and 10th century. This is a very great task, something which is not possible to do. But now you have to take up the challenge. Next, please. Just look at another temple. It is about to crash down. Any moment it can fall down. Next, please. So, the problem was, how to deal with things. I had previous instruction that I should not remain there after 4 o'clock. So, before 4 o'clock, I had to leave the place. So what I did is I gave instruction because there were some surrendered dacoits working with me in Bhopal also and also at Bateshwar. So I gave them instruction that you be here and remove all the trees and the bushes and other things, and let us see how things will work. And then only you would be able to put a tongue in each and every stone. So when we remove the tree, it was looking like this one. There are only one or two temples standing like this one. All others have completely perished. Next, please. Next, please. A few more shots. So now this is a very frightening look for an archaeologist or an architect, because he has to put this question to each and every stone and then reconstruct them as it was. A gigantic task. Next, please. An English traveler, when he saw it, he said, "This is the biggest jigsaw puzzle I have ever seen." The biggest jigsaw puzzle I have ever seen, that is cave in Standage. Next, please. Any moment it can come down. I'm so fragile, it is so fragile that any moment it can come down. Next, please. Next, please. So after this one, we had two more rounds with the dacoits. Now we have to take up the question and take up the conservation work also. And it is going to be my Satyamangalam forest for the next many years. But we were all skeptical because you are not like Nakiran. You have to, because you don't have any other contacts. You have to deal with them directly. So we had 2-3 more this one rounds. It's a kind of human engineering. That human engineering, you are able to do it, then you can do the engineering of the temples also. Otherwise, you would not be able to do it. So we saw this area. Now I came to the conclusion that this was the entrance gate to the entire area. They don't have any kind of gopuras like ours. There will be a small entrance. So what is this one? It's the lowest part of a pillar. When we excavated at Ayodhya, we also got a pillar base like this one. So this is a pillar base. Okay, that is fine. And then where is the pillar? You have the pillar here. And where is the stone on the top of that one? That is here. And on the top of that, this is here. Everything is lying there itself. We are very fortunate. Since it was infested with the dacoits, nobody had the courage to lift anything from here. Otherwise, things would have been completely lost. So we are very fortunate that way. So then now the question is, you have got only one pillar, and how can you have a gateway? So what we generally do is that if we are not getting any answer for that one, we look at God and ask him, Ishwar, please tell us a way out of it. But an archaeologist is not like that. He looks down below, Mother Earth, and then he excavates the thing. So when I excavated this portion, next please. So I got the other pillar base here. But you have to have the pillar also. Next please. You have got the pillar also here. And the area is paved. Now what you have to do is, you have to join them together with heraldite and also inserting iron rods, steel rods. Not iron rods, steel rods. So that is exactly what I did. Next please. Now one is standing here. So these dacoits, when I had close negotiations with them, they said they wanted to see things, this area, within 4 months I should complete. And that was an ultimatum. And when they say, you have to do it. Otherwise, you have to pay with your own life. So we were, throughout, even in the night also, because now we have the protection, we were doing the work. So this is completed. And then, but here you can see the circle mark. We don't erase it. Here also you can see the surgical mark. We don't erase it. Because when a guide goes to that place, he should be able to tell the story. Because this one, archaeological place, it has got a history of its own from this long back, and also there is a history of conservation. So in order to narrate the history of conservation, we leave this surgical mark so that they can explain it. Next, please. And now both these pillars have come up. And this one mission is not over. Given me that this also should be 1, 2, 3, 4. These also should be conserved within 4 months. So we brought down, first of all, what we have done is we documented it both photographically and also with drawings, brought them down, strong foundation was given so that, for the next 3,000, 4,000 years, nothing should happen to it. So that way we took up the conservation work also. Now before 4 months you have to do. Next, please. Just look at it. Within 4 months we have been able to come. They came because mostly they are on the horse's back, and sometimes they will not use the horses also. And whenever this group they moves, there will be a pilot party in the front portion. And that pilot man, he came to this area and he was completely mesmerized by the conservation work. And then he spoke to his master, that is Nirbhay Singh Gujjar, Sardar. They call them Sardar. Ye kamal ka kaam kiya hai. These people have created wonders. Ye kamal ka kaam kiya hai. These people have created wonders. He came, that is Nirbhay Singh Gujjar came. So he was blown off his feet. He tried to smile, but he could not smile. Killed a number of people. He could not smile. He could only smirk. Then he said, "Ye to chamatkar ka kaam hai." And this is miraculous work. Ye to chamatkar ka kaam hai. So that was a kind of certificate for us. And now we can move on. Next, please. So you have what was the condition earlier, and now what is the condition? Next. This is another temple. So most of these temples were Shiva temples, and there were 60% were Shiva temples and 40% were Vishnu temples. So Shiva temples, that Shiva would be having Jata Makuta, Jadi, Charmi, Shikandi cha Sarvanga Sarva Pavana, Harischa Harinachascha, Sarva Buddha Hara Prabhu. It is ultimately he who destroys everything. Shashudam Shivam Achudam. If there is anything everlasting, that is Lord Shiva. So then we came to this temple, whether it is a Shiva temple, Vishnu temple, or some kind of Brahma temple. Inside there was nothing. Then an archaeologist, he has making out it. I looked at this small split, small gap. That gave me the answer. It is elongated. That means it is Nandistan. It is the place for Nandi. And the Amalka on top, it is lying down. I recited the mantra, Vahanam Vrishabho Yasya, Vasuki Kandabhushanam, Vame Shakti Dharam Deva Vakaraya Namo Nama. Recited the mantra, took a pradakshina of this temple. There was a slopy side this way. When I looked toward this slopy side, I could see a small, beautiful Nandi waiting for me, looking at me as if he was waiting for me for the last 1,200 years. A very small, beautiful. And then we ceremonially lifted him and then kept him inside this gap, and he was perfectly sitting. Next, please. So now the temple has been conserved. You might be asking, where is Nandi? Wait, please. Next, please. Just look at it. Small, beautiful, cute Nandi. What is he looking at? He is looking at Kailash, where both Shiva and Parvati are sitting. And he is listening to that Om which is coming from Kailash. What is Om? Brahma, Om Tadvayu, Om Tadatma, Om Tat Satyam, Om Tat Sarvam. So Om is everything. So he is looking at that Kailash. Now he has been given his own position. He is very happy now. Next, please. You can just compare. Next, please. These three parts are lying there itself. Next, please. I took up the work. Next, please. Just look at it. A thing of perfect beauty and absolute finish. Next, please. Next, please. And now, look at this one. It looks like the setting of an English horror story. Dracula, jaise. And then we took up the work. Next, please. Just completed. A gem of rare workmanship. A gem of rare workmanship. Next, please. Next, please. One day I was just walking over this one. At that time, there was no GPR survey, ground penetrating radar survey was not there. I was just walking over that one. But an archaeologist, he has got his own way of, survey is there in his own mind. Now the survey was conducted there also in Gyan Vapi also, recent one. So while I was walking, I could feel, there were 3-4 temples below my shoe. And when I excavated the area, next please. First of all, I got these 3 temples from there, and then I conserved it, it became like this one. This temple is this one. And all these 4 temples, it has come out of this debris. Because if you are an archaeologist, you have certain connections with the Mother Earth. And your mind, that travels through the fascinating labyrinth of this one earth, and then find out what is hidden there. Please. Initially, there was a shortage of water. And the dacoits also faced this problem acutely. So they had to go to the nearby village. So I said, that you can get in this area itself. And then I completely surveyed the entire area and came to the conclusion that here we would be getting water. Next, please. So when I removed this tree and this tree, I not only got plenty, copious amount of water, but 3 temples also I could excavate it from the debris. Next, please. Next, please. And now you are going to get water from here. But before that, I called all the dacoits, small dacoits were there, other people, and they were now working with me because, they said they wanted to quit this one dacoity business and they wanted to join, and I employed those people. And I said that we are going to get water from here, but this will not be Chambal water. Because if you are drinking Chambal water, there is a belief then you would also turn into a dacoit. So I said, we have nothing to do with that kind of Chambal water now. We will invoke all the great rivers that has been mentioned in Rig Veda. In Rigveda, there is a Nadi Sukta. In that, it has taken the names of several, with 7 important rivers. And this is known as Sapta Sindhu. And it says, Imam me gange yamune saraswati shutudri somam sajada parushnaya. I invoked all those rivers and I said that you are a witness to this thing. We are going to get water and these people are now going to lead a reformed life. And they all came, they stood. Next, please. Just look at this, the copious amount of water. And their comment was, Man changa hai to katoti mein Ganga. If your mind is pure, Ganga ji would be at your doorstep. Next, please. So you have the entire journey. Next, please. And now, here this tree, you can see it only in Angkor Wat, a photograph like this one. This tree has completely eaten away the whole temple. Now, as per Agamas, you cannot cut down a tree. But if you want to rescue the temple, you cut down. But even for that also, there are certain rules and regulations. You have to stick to that one. And first of all, you have to go. You have to pay namaste. Namaste vriksho chamandu. Vidivat sambagraheda. First of all, adore them, respect them. Chamandu, seek his pardon, the tree's pardon. And then say that I am doing as per the prescription. And then not only from the tree you have to take the permission. You have to take the permission from those birds who are sitting over this one. And tell them, kindly it from this tree to some other habitable tree. Not any tree, to some other habitable tree. Anyartha vasam parikalpayandu. Kindly migrate from this tree to some other habitable tree. And also from the insects, you have to take the permission. There will be many insects. So I took the permission of all these things. And when I cut down the tree, the entire temple itself fell down. And then we reconstructed the entire thing. Next, please. There are many trees like this one who had eaten away the temples. See, its roots are going through the ribs of the temple. Next. Now I started reconstructing it. Next, please. It has come up to this level. All these are dacoits now. Reformed dacoits. Don't call them dacoits now. Reformed dacoits. Next, please. It has come up to this level. Now we are going to finish it. Next, please. Just look at it. Fresh, clean, unspoiled by time and tide. It looks like a jewel casket. Beautiful jewel casket. Next, please. Just look at it. Compare it. Next, please. It was in several fragments. Another temple. Next, please. Work is going on. Next, please. It has come up to this level. Next, please. Now it is completely finished. Next, please. Next, please. So you had seen it like this one, and we have made it like this one. Next, please. And this is going to be the biggest conservation challenge. You have, the steps are there, so you and are just lying there. Just there. So there, I counted it, there were 6 temples like this one. So by taking this one, fragments, we are just to reconstruct 6 temples. You might have heard about, you know about that phoenix, a mythical bird, which once it is dead and gone, it comes out of its own ashes. So similarly, these temples, they would be coming out from its own ashes and then they would be standing and saluting you. So I removed the trees first. So here in where we have written A, you are going to have 6 temples. B, you will be having 8 temples. C, you will be having 6 temples. So 20 temples are now going to come up right before your eyes. It is not any kind of this one, jadoo. Next, please. My people started working. Next, please. We inspect it. Next, please. 2 temples have been almost completed. Next, please. You can compare it. Next, please. It is only 3 temples, but I had promised you 6 temples here. Next, please. Just look at it. Now, 4th one has also come up. 5th one, please. Just look at it again. The 5th one is there. And now we have to conserve this area also. 6th one, please. Just look at it. Yeah. Wonderful. 3, 4 temples, 6 temples. Look at its elevation, symmetry, balance, and harmony. Very perfect temples. Divine in conception and sublime in execution. Each stone that has gone into the creation of this temple, that is aesthetically very beautiful. And then it was cut and polished like a sparkling diamond with facets. And then that stone was crafted into second one, second into third one into fourth one. And then it has been brought into a very brilliant culmination to make it an enchanting musical note. A musical note of Ilayaraja? No. Tyagaraja? No. Tansen? No. Then who? The real Brahma himself, who is not only Nada Brahma, and he is also the Vastu Brahma. So that is, these 6 temples standing right before you. Next, please. Just look at it. You had seen it like this one. And it is out of that we have made these 6 beautiful temples. And 8 temples are now going to come here and 6 temples here also. Next, please. Just look at it, the backside of it. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. Now the 8 temples, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And we have to conserve this area also. Next, please. All these are dacoits, but reformed dacoit, don't call them dacoits now. They are all reformed people. Next, please. Just look at it. Even if you don't believe in Shiva, even if you don't believe in Vishnu, if you are here at this place, you would believe in all the gods and goddesses. You can see Lord Brahma, Lord Shiva in his cosmic dance here, casting his magical spell over the universe. Next, please. And if you are excavating this area, you will be getting a number of temples from here. Next, please. Next, please. These 3 temples, next, please. Completed. Next, please. But there are 6 temples here. Next, please. Next, please. And if you are excavating this area, you will be getting a number of temples. I have been able to complete only 80 temples. And this is Hanumanji. Dacoits, before going for any kind of dacoity, first of all, they will do puja here. So only after getting the sanction from the god, Hanumanji, they will go for the dacoity. And when they come back, before distributing the booty, they will come and they will submit everything here. And then they would be equally distributing it. Next, please. And this temple, I saw it like this one. Next, please. It is now like this. Next, please. You can just compare it. It was like this and now it is. Next, please. And the other area, by using these temple stones, next, please, we have been able to, all these are, fresh temples. But the parts were lying there, we had to do piecing together work. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. And many of the dacoits, smaller dacoits, they joined with us. We started paying them. And now the most important dacoits, that was Nirbhay Singh Gujjar, he wanted to meet me directly, but I had no faith in him because he could go anyway. So I was just trying to avoid meeting him directly. But one day I was moving from one place to another place, and he knew that I had lesser confidence in him. So he knew it very well. One day I was moving from one temple to another. So when I reached this place, I saw a man smoking. It was not within the temple, but in the premises. So I asked him, आपको शर्म नहीं आते, आप मंदिर में बीड़ी पी रहे हैं? Are you not ashamed that you are smoking in a temple area? He looked at me very contemptuously because I did not know who he was. He looked at me very contemptuously. He did not say anything. But I was always keeping this surrendered dacoits with me so that if anything goes wrong, there will be there to help me and rectify things. So they just came forward, caught hold of my hand and told me, Sir, aapse kuch mat kahiye. Please don't speak anything to him. So that was an enough warning for me. I knew that I am in front of the biggest dacoit of the area. You just cannot run away. And I sat at his feet. Next, please. So this is that temple where I met him. But before that, I was excavating this area. So when I excavated, I got that pragara, that is the compound wall, and the steps also for going up. Next, please. He was smoking. Very coolly, he was smoking. And I asked him, आपको शर्म नहीं आते, आप मंदिर में बीड़ी? Are you not ashamed that you are smoking in a temple area? He did not say anything. And then it was like this one. He was sitting here. Next, please. And he was sitting here and smoking very coolly. So when I encountered him, and then I came to know that this one, Nirbhay Singh Gujjar, because I had seen his interview in Aaj Tak channel. So you just cannot run away because the entire area has been covered by his people. Even otherwise also I am very small and I cannot run away at that speed. Yeah. So I just sat at his feet. There was no other way. I just sat at his feet, engaged him in a discussion. I told him, Sir, all these gods and goddesses, Brahma, Vishnu, Mahesh, and all of them, they are safe and secure is only because of you. Otherwise, they would have been either in America or in Paris or in England or in some other places. And there would have been the need of another Vijay Kumarji to bring them back. So he liked it, he relished it very much because, all the gods and goddesses are at his mercy. It's only because of him they are here in India. He liked it very much. And I further continued that neither the collector nor the police officials, they would not be able to do the kind of work which you are doing. It's only because of you that we are able to complete this work. And I said in future also, because without you we cannot do anything. So he liked it very much. And then I told him, God has got a purpose by sending you to this place. There is something behind it which an ordinary person cannot see. So he became very curious. What is the purpose of he being sent to this place? He became very curious. I said, all these temples, not only here in Madhya Pradesh, but also in Rajasthan, in Gujarat, in Uttaranchal, this has been constructed by a very powerful dynasty known as Gujjar Pratihara dynasty. They were in the 8th and 9th centuries. They ruled the middle part of India. It is known as Gujjar Pratihara dynasty. And your name is Nirbhay Singh Gujjar that means you belongs to that illustrious line of kings who once ruled. And it is because of that, for the protection of this one, God has sent you to this place. And if you were not here, neither the Brahma, nor Vishnu, nor Shiva would have been here. And he liked this very much, and he was blown over his feet. Blown over his feet. And these people, they do a lot of puja for Hanumanji, and also Devi, because Kali, they do a lot of puja. So I just recited some mantras from Devi Mahatmyam. Mahishasura Nirna, Shavidatri, Varade Nama, Rupam Devi, Jayam Devi, Yasho Dehi, Disho Jahi. So atmosphere became very calm and quiet, and he also supported us. But he was able to, he knew that his time is now running out, because the Madhya Pradesh government and Uttar Pradesh government and Rajasthan government, all these three governments, they had come into a pact. They had made a task force now in order to gun him down. And he was running from places to places, from pillar to pillar. And he had originally 80 people, but now only 4 to 5 people were left out. So he was running, and he told me that I would be shot dead any time, because his younger brother was shot dead. Only another younger brother was, Pappu Gujar, was remaining. Otherwise, many of these people were shot dead. And I said, whether you are alive or not, I would be naming this temple after you. So he liked it very much. And then he said, the work should be completed at the earliest. I said that we'll try for that one. Next, please. So now, because I can bring many people from various places, I brought them, gave them full security, and they started working. Next, please. So now all these have been replaced. These have been replaced. Next, please. And now we have to have a new pillar here. Next, please. The pillar is there. Now you have to give the ceiling stones. Next, please. That has already been given. Next, please. And the huge boundary wall. Next, please. It's a huge temple now. Next, please. And now all the gods and goddesses are happy with K.K. Muhammed. They may be angry with Muhammad Ghazni, Muhammad Ghori, all those people who had destroyed our temples. But they are happy with K.K. Muhammed. And even if the temples are broken, parts are broken, we don't throw it away. We join them together. Earlier, Shiva was very angry because his house was not at all in proper condition. But now we have put it in proper order, so he is ready to marry also. Next, please. You can see Kalyana Sundara Murti of Lord Shiva. Mostly such murtis are found in our southern area. In northern India, they are very few. And now Lord Shiva is ready to marry. He is very happy. His house is now in order. And if he marries, then he has to have children also. Egatandam Chaturbahu, Gajavaktram Mahodaram, Siddhi Buddhi Samayuktam Mushigarudam Evaja. If there is any god who has got both Siddhi and Buddhi, that is Lord Ganesha. And Ganesha is in a very happy mood, dancing mood, because the temples are in very good condition. He wanted to show it to his wife also, Shakti Ganesha. All this, we have recovered from the site. Now it is in Gwalior Museum. Next, please. And this is Yashodhara Scindia, the younger sister of Vasundhara Scindia of Rajasthan. So one day she called me, Muhammad, you have been doing a lot of work, but you have not taken me to that site. So I told her, madam, because I cannot take you to the place. It is fully infested with all kinds of dacoits. And if you are kidnapped, the blame would be on me. So I don't want to take you to that place. So then, once these people have been shot dead, because within 1 month, Nirbhay Singh Gujjar was shot dead. And then I took her to the site, and she was our tourism minister also. She has got a very good, understanding about the archaeological sites. And she asked me, what do you need from my side? I said that there is no road to come to this place. So she immediately, a very powerful minister, she immediately ordered and told me that you have to see the quality of the roads also. Next, please. This is Jyotiradityas India. Of course, they were at that time on the two lines of the political divide, but now they are together. And he was also, Jyotiradityas India ji was also extremely helpful. You tell them, speak to him, this is your problem, immediately he will ring back. So that was the kind of support I was enjoying from him. Next, and he used to admit it in the open meeting. You give Muhammad 100 rupees, he will make it 1000 and give it back. Next, please. So aapne, you had seen it like this. And we have made it, next please, like this. Now there is a traffic jam of temples. There is a traffic jam of temples. Next please. And I have now, what I have done is, before leaving the place, all around I have made a very beautiful garden also. And people are now thronging to this place. Tourists from all parts of the world are now coming to the place. You had seen it like this one. Out of this, what we have done is like this. And that too, within 4 to 5 months, we have been able to complete it. And you know what is the cost of it? Anybody can guess? It is only within 2 crores of rupees I have done this work. Next, please. Next, please. Again, you had seen it like this one. Next, please. And now it looks like this one, Georges. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. And he knew that his end is coming, and that came. It was within 1 month of, because I met him in the month of October, and within November, on 7th of November, he was shot dead. Next, please. And only his brother was alive. One Pappu Gujar was alive. If he kidnapped any school teacher, they used to extract 15 to 20 crores, 20 lakhs of rupees. That was their rate. And if you are a government officer or top, this officer, it would run into many crores of rupees. Next, please. So then, because once he was shot dead, as long as he was there, nobody had the courage to come there and mine the area. But once he was shot dead, the mining mafia, people from all political groups, they came, they started rampant mining, and the precious preserves of the nature was completely, blatantly, it was completely taken, viciously plundered by those people. I wrote to so many people, but they were all getting money. And there was one minister, his name is Lakshmikant Sharma. I wrote to him. I thought that he was a former RSS person, so he might be having some love for this one. But he was the biggest beneficiary. So he told me, Muhammad, aapka wo letter nahi mujhe. He did not get my letter. I sent a second letter, and he said, then I went to him, I did not get your letter, Muhammad. So that was his typical reply. And then I did something which again a government servant should not have done. But I thought that, there was no other way but to do that one. I wrote a very strong letter to Sudarshan ji. Who is Sudarshan ji at that time? He was the chief of RSS at that time. I wrote him a letter, what Muhammad Ghazni and Muhammad Ghori had done during the medieval period. And the same thing is being repeated by the BJP ministry of Madhya Pradesh, because BJP was ruling there. He took, the greatness of the person is, he took immediate action. He pulled up the chief minister. The next day, police was rushed to the area. There was an exchange. The other people was, this mining lobby, it was fully armed. There was an exchange of fire. Finally, the police was able to stop them. Next, please. Next, please. And this was the letter which I had written to this one, Sudarshan ji. Next, please. And immediately, Ambika Soni, she was our Minister of Culture in Delhi. She wrote a letter to this Shivraj Singh Chauhan, who was the Chief Minister of MP. Next, please. And Shivraj Singh Chauhan wrote back, yes, earlier it was going on, and now I have deputed police person, and they have been able to stop it. But the last portion of it was against me, that action should be taken against me for writing a letter to Sudarshan ji. So a chief minister is writing against a government servant to the departmental minister that is in Delhi. Of course, action should be against him as per the protocol. And my complaint was to Lord Shiva, not to this minister or that minister. Because, I had gone to that area where people refused to go. And then reconstructed the abode of Lord Shiva. And is it the reward which you are going to give me? My suspension again. But Lord Shiva had his own way of dealing with these things. There were many press people who had gone to Ambika Soni and said that he has done an outstanding work which nobody has done so far. And are you going to suspend him? So she said, no. I mean, it has been, of course, forwarded by the chief minister. But I have my own discretion and I'm not going to take any kind of action against him. So otherwise, for me, only the thing that was left to me was only to recite Mahamrityunjay mantra. Without that, you just cannot do anything. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. And all the newspapers were with me. All the newspapers, all the channels were with me. Next, please. Dacoits help preserve Marina Temple. Next, please. Temple safe, CM means Chief Minister tell Ambika Soni, but Muhammad may face heat. Next, please. Now, because it has become a very important place, a number of people. These are the IAS and IPS officers who were posted there but afraid of going there. But now they are visiting in the year 2016 and they said excellent, Chandar, excellent. Next, please. Bateshwar Temple. And now a number of students are going, they are doing their own this one work. Next, please. Groups of students. Next, please. Bateshwar Mandir ko, this is the former dacoits are also visiting the place. This is this one who used to use that letter pad for kidnapping people. This is the same person. And he is very happy. Because you can use all these kinds of people in order to increase your tourism. Next, please. And this is a Holland Mahila hockey team. They are coming, they have seen it. I mean, they were very beautiful. I am highly impressed by these people, by the site. Next, please. And this is the group that had won that hockey Olympics in 2012. Next, please. Restored glory. It is from our own Subramanyam in front line. He was very kind. Malve mein mandiron ka khajana. Next, please. SI turns to RSS, gets help. Next, please. Illegal miners fire at collector and SP. They were so powerful, they fired at the collector and SP. I was very fortunate that I could save myself because, I had a lot of connection with the surrendered dacoits and they knew what kind of contribution I had done for the site. So if anything had happened to me, they would have wiped out not only the person who had killed me, but, then their family itself. So that way I was saved. But not collectors and the SPs were not so fortunate. And they killed a young IPS officer under the illegally, under the truck of under the tire of a truck. They very, very mercilessly they killed him. Next, please. सुदर्शन जी की पहल पर शासन जागा, खदानें बंद, बटेश्वर के मंदिर बचाए. Next, please. मोहम्मद ने क्यों लिखा सुदर्शन को खत? Why did I write a letter to सुदर्शन जी? And CM ने उठाया ASI अधीक्षक पर सवाल. CM has started asking questions about the way of working of Muhammad. Next, please. IPS की हत्या. This young IPS officer of 32 years, he was very mercilessly under the truck. They this one brutally they killed him. बेदम बंदूक बेखौफ माफिया सिर्फ एक ही साल में हो चुके 50 से ज़्यादा. Within 1 year there were more than 50 attacks of this kind. So killing me was not at all a big problem, but it was only because of the saviors were there. IPS की हत्या. Next, please. I got international award for this one, award for this one. Next, please. Many awards came. Next, please. Of course, it is the Reach Award from Chennai, Ravi, Sam, and other people. Yes. Next, please. Later on, the CM also realized his mistake, and he declared an award for me. I could not go because by that time I was in Delhi. I was in charge of Delhi, so the French president was coming to Qutub Minar. I had to receive him, so I deputed my wife, and she went and received it. Next, please. And this is that Mohar Singh, who had killed 80 people, and now he is writing. 2 years back, he was this one. He died. Next, please. Before that, he wrote a letter to the Honorable Prime Minister, but nothing happened out of that one. He sent a copy to me also. Next, please. And I was completely disappointed. For the last 9 years, nothing was happening. BJP government speaks a lot of things, that the glorious civilization and everything, but they did not do anything. I was very highly disappointed. Then one day I received a phone call from a very important person. This is, as you all know, this is Mrs. Sudha Narayan Murthy of Infosys. She told me that, Muhammad, I have been hearing a lot of things. These are her sisters and sister's husband. And they would like to go to the place. And I said that I can take you to the place. So she asked me whether the Dacoits are still there. So I said no. And all of them have been liquidated. And even if there is one or two, you don't have any problem. So we went to the whole area, and she's standing there at the site. Next, please. Went to the whole area. Even to the Hanumanji also. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. Next, please. We had a small, lunch at the site. Next, please. Next, please. And Madam said, what do you expect from my side? I said that there is one Vishnu temple. What is the time? 7:20. So I think within 5 minutes, I'll wind up. So, I said that there is one Vishnu temple. The government is not done anything at all. Now, since the last 9 years, nothing has happened. And Madam gave 4 crores of rupees for the entire site. Next, please. It is this monument Madam has taken up. Next, please. Any moment it can come down in a very perilous condition. Next, please. And we started working. Next, please. It has come up to this level. And we are raising this one stones. These are simply stone for a person. But for us, it is the real God itself is now going up. Oh, there is in the Shavadaram, I think, Kallai Mattum Kandal, Kadavul, Kadayade. So it is like that one, now things are going up. Next, please. It has come up to this level. Next, please. It has come up to the top level. Next, please. Now just look at it. A beautiful temple. It is now completed with the amount which Madam had provided. That is Sudha Narayan Murthy Madam had provided. And we have completed this work with half of the estimated amount. The estimated amount was 3 crores and 80 lakhs, but we have completed within 1 crore 60 lakhs of rupees. And then I said the rest of the money would be utilizing for reconstructing 10 temples all around it. So that is the kind of work we have been doing. Next, please. This is slum school, which because, there are a number of students here. You would be in a very good position, but you have to see there are a number of people who are not in a position because, many of the students, many of the people, they don't have they are not able to lead a very good life. So we have to see the condition of those people, and whatever you can do it for the society. While I was working in Delhi, because it was for Commonwealth. A number of laborers were working with me and they were coming along with their children. And these children, they don't have an opportunity to go to the schools. They would be for 2 months at one place and 3 months for another place. So I started, myself and my wife, we started having this one slum schools at all the places, not bigger schools, but there will be a tent, there will be a teacher, and they will be teaching them and give them uniform. That is what I used to do. So just look at it and just provide them few facilities, for playing and other things. They would be very happy. Provide them food and sweets also. They would be very good students. Next, please. This is in Tughlakabad, Adilabad. My wife, distributing Kambal. At that time, the cost of Kambal was, Kambal means, this one, 200 rupees, but I used to get it for 100 rupees. There were many people to help me. Next, please. And now there was a demand from those people, children are learning, we also wanted to learn. Yeah, so I provided them, this one, just look at it. Only 1-year-old boy. Next, please. Many people were there to help me. Next, please. And this is a foreigner, she wanted to help. Next, please. I said that you give it with your own hand. Next, please. Next, please. And I got an award, Citizen Journalist Award, and this award was given to me by a very tall person. Next, please. Yes. And another person who was taller than him wanted to meet these children. Next, please. And that was this person. American President Obama. He wanted to meet these children. And both of them were very tall. And I am only 5.2. Next, please. And they had a lot of questions about Indian Upanishads and other things. And they were the happiest people when they met the children. Next, please. See how the American president is sitting. Next, please. And look at this boy. He is Mr. Vishal. It was he who had received American president. Welcome, Mrs. and Mr. Obama. Obama was very much impressed by him. And it was in 2010, but in 2015 again he came. So I got a phone call. By that time I had retired from the Archaeological Survey of India in 2012. So I got a phone call from American Embassy that American president is looking for Vishal. I had forgotten the name of, because how can you remember the names of all the boys? I had forgotten the name. I said, I don't know who is Vishal. Then embassy told me that there was a student who had received him. And then I located his wife, father. And then in 2015, he met the president because we had just given just a push to this boy. And now he was a student in St. Columbus in Delhi. Just look at it. How we can help the community. Sarve bhavantu sukhinam, sarve santu niramya, sarve bhadrani, paschandu makas. Next, please. And then I invited him for one of my lectures there and gave him financial help and support again. Next, please. Why did American president did not forget his earlier past? He had such an earlier past with his mother, but he did not forget it. Next, please. So it is there are so many things like this one, and this is what we have to do is, number one, the conservation of the temples, and there are various temples. So when I was offered by a small gift as financial help, I said, I don't need this one. But it can be given for some of the temples of this area. So whatever help is possible, let us give it to our temples also. And also to the lesser fortunate brothers, because in our area there are a number of people who are not having an opportunity to go to school. Children are there. Let us help them so that the God will pay you back, God will help you back. So thank you all. Thank you for giving a very patient hearing. Thank you very much.
I'm not sure what justice I would do for an interaction after such a presentation, but I will try my best to. To begin with, I'm reminded of two characters from ancient text. One is historical and the other is Puranic. One is this later Pandya king from Tenkasi who's called as Parakrama Pandya, who was ruling somewhere around today's Kutralam. And that was around the 17th century when Kashi was invaded for the fourth time in list. And the great mansion, the palatial mansion of Vishwanatha, was brought down to a huge debris collection. And it is believed that that night, this king here in down south, who was once upon a time a part of the great Pandya Empire, but now reduced into a small ruling dynasty, had a very interesting dream wherein Vishwanatha appeared and requested him to construct a mansion in the south of India because his house was brought down and he, along with his wife and two children, are on the streets. And he said, I am on my walk, I'm on my way, taking refuge in the south of India. Get me a house built there at your place. And so did Parakrama Pandya, commissioned constructing not just a temple, but an entire city to host probably the greatest of all guests he would ever get in his lifetime, which was none but Vishwanatha from Kashi. And that was how was born Tenkasi as a town that we all know. So I'm only reminded of Parakrama Pandya. Probably Shiva had his own ideas. Maybe he came in one of the dreams of Shri Muhammad sir here and asked him to come over to Chambal Valley, where it was probably the largest jigsaw, as it was called by one of the travelers, to set it back. Having been a part of several excavations and conservation projects with the Archaeological Survey of India and State Archaeology Department, I would say this is much more than a case study for anybody trying to learn about archaeology. Because archaeology has both these components, excavation and conservation. Excavation is kind of, it has its own nitty-gritties, but conservation is quite challenging because each project is an individual case study. You don't have much of precedences for any project that you get. So each of it has got to be approached as a new project. So I think that should have also happened, and probably in his deep sleep he would have forgotten it, of Vishwanatha, like Vishwanatha, the Maheshwara of Bateshwar should have commanded him to come over to Chambal Valley because he's the only one who would have ventured into it. Second, I'm reminded of Daku Ratnakar, Valmiki Maharishi, who was a Daku initially, and how Narada's conversation, Narada's meetup with him made him into compile Ramayana, to write Ramayana. And Narada Maharishi could do it to one Daku, and we have Shri Muhammad sir here, who had done it to a dozen of them or 2 dozens of them probably. And making a person of that statistical records of so many murders and robberies to just sit at his feet and tell him and cajole him, convince him to believe that you belong to that dynasty which once upon a time commissioned these temples and got them all built. Yeah, and that bringing him so close to those monuments which he would have visited 100 times before that, without that emotion, has managed to come up with probably one of the largest conservation projects getting done successfully. So I see in you a Narada Maharishi for having converted so many dacoits into the caretakers of such a huge settlement. And I'm curious with a couple of questions. So to begin with, to get sandwiched between state mechanism on one side, you serving in government instituted body and the government, the administration on one side, and dacoits on the other end, getting sandwiched between these two institutions, probably, if I can say, which are at the ends. How was it to strike a balance? Because they are tangentially opposite. One is in search of the other. So to get trapped in between and to work with it.
For that, you have to have certain human engineering techniques. Human engineering techniques, because earlier I had the same kind of problem in Jagdalpur also, that is in Chhattisgarh area. In Chhattisgarh, we had a lot of Naxal groups were there. But I had one advantage, that is I am a Muslim. And once a Muslim takes interest in a Hindu temple, and then they also think about it. Isn't it our duty to conserve and reconstruct the temple? So if you are able to play upon that psychological aspect of it, then you can change many of these people. And then I have been taking a lot of interest not only in the dacoits and other things, but also in the children of the lesser, this one fortunate people. So that way you can do a lot of work once they are convinced, because initially you will have a lot of resistance. The question was, why should a Muslim should come and reconstruct the temple? That was the first question. And secondly, that too a person whose name is Muhammad, because they are reminded of Muhammad Ghazni and Muhammad Ghori. And once they are convinced that, I mean, you are, I mean, very much interested in all these things and you are passionately attached, not only interested, passionately attached with the work, and then you will be getting the kind of support which a Brahmin should not get, an Iyer and a Iyengar would not get. That kind of support you will be getting it here. It is just playing on the psychology of the people, and they will do anything for you. And the collector was not getting the support, but the dacoits were ready to, I mean, wipe out the entire family for me. So if that support was not there, I would not have been able to do anything at all. It is just to have that kind of human engineering so that you can do a lot of work.
I see in you much more than an archaeologist. I mean, to talk about human engineering and understanding the needs of probably who would have otherwise taken your life, to strike a balance with them in the best way possible to get something like this done is much more than an archaeologist's job. I mean, in fact, there is a lot more to learn apart from conservation from the way you've taken up this project. Thank you for that. One more aspect of the Bateshwar group of monuments, you were telling about 9th or 10th century when they were probably constructed. Any clue as to when did it fall down, the seismic?
I mean, this one, I mean, there was in 13th century because it was not on the trade route. Had it been in the trade route, there would have been a chance for the Muslim army coming and destroying it. It was not on the main trade route. But in 12th century, there was a huge earthquake was there. That has been recorded in the case of Qutub Minar. So we have that reference once there. And then it was during Firoz Shah Tughlaq. He had reconstructed it at the Qutub Minar. So I had compared with, I mean, architecturally also, and also with the help of the literary, evidences also, I had compared it with those people.
This should be hardly 40-50 kilometers from Delhi. So
no, it is 200 kilometers, 200 but the belt is the same thing. Right. The earthquake belt is the same thing.
The seismic zone.
Yeah, the same zone, earthquake zone.
Great. Another question, maybe not just restricted to Bateshwar, is on, I'm sure many in the audience would be wanting to hear about it, the Ayodhya verdict in which your role was quite prominent. So there is this discussion going on about how the Honorable Court had just said that it is probably a Hindu structure and not a Hindu temple, wherever the masjid was built.
Yeah.
So how do they see a difference in that?
See, they had their own limitations. But from the archaeologist's point of view, it was a temple because when I went inside the temple area first, I could see that, I mean, the mosque was standing on temple pillars. And on the lower part of it, Purna Kalasha was there. Purna Kalasha is one of the Ashtamangala Chinnas, 8 auspicious symbols in Hinduism. Purnamada, Purnamidam, Purnartha, Purnamudachyade. So that we could see it very prominently, and that was there in the 12th century temples of other places also. For example, just by the side of Qutub Minar, there is a mosque known as Quwwatul Islam Masjid. And 27 temples have been destroyed for that one. There is an Arabic inscription also on that one. So that was the first evidence. And then there were certain Hindu sculptures were there at 2 places, which of course was defaced. So that was the second evidence. And then there were some other important things. When we excavated the western part and the southern part, the pillar basis on which the pillars were standing, that was excavated. And then a number of idols of gods and goddesses, and it was terracotta idols of gods and goddesses, ladies, because none of these things are expected from a mosque area. You can never expect a human figure from this one, whether even if it is male. And here you have got a number of terracotta idols of ladies also. A lady drummer was there. And then dog was there. Serpent was there. All these things are available. So it was on the basis of that one, Professor Lal had come to the conclusion that there was a temple below the mosque. But it was not a very big problem at that time. It was 76, 77. But what this communist historians did is, that is JNU and Aligarh University, they went to the press, then they gave a statement that Professor Lal and his group had excavated the site, but did not receive anything associated with the temple at all.
So that was a fake
False statement, totally false statement, totally false statement. Because they had a lot of press connection with the English press at that
But
time.
Professor Lal's report was not published by then.
No, but Lal's, because he is a very, this one, very considerate person. Many of the things that were required for the, for the academia, that is one thing. And he did not want to provoke the entire country by publishing the material. So that was kept only for the academic people. But they took a due advantage out of it. And Professor Lal had to defend himself. No, we have got a number of things. These are the things which we have been able to excavate it. So I came in support of him. And that was, of course, a very dangerous step at that time. But I don't know how did I get enough strength from Lord Vishnu or Lord Shiva, Somehow I made the statement.
I don't know how you
Yes.
get the strength for so many other things you did.
Yeah,
Also. Everywhere else. There was also a parallel claim that it is probably an Indian temple belonging to different school of faith systems, like a Jain temple or a Buddhist.
No, because that is because they came out. That is again the communist historian. They wanted to twist. None of them are archaeologists. They were all historian. None of them are. They don't have any domain competence to speak on a subject.
There was no report claiming it to be belonging to Jain or Buddhist faith.
No. Because Jains are there. There were 5 Jain Tirthankaras were from Ayodhya, but that is not from Janamsthan. Janamsthan is a different thing, and that is from Greater Ayodhya. And similarly, because the temple gargoyle was excavated from there.
Okay.
That temple gargoyle means, every temple you have to have a divine waiting, you have to give every day.
Pranala,
And then that the Abhishek Jala will go through that one. That would be always towards north. And that is because wherever the river is taking a turn towards north, that is Uttaravahini is known as. So Gangotri, Yamunotri, Haridwar, Lakshman Jula, Prayag, everything. So that was excavated. So you cannot expect such a thing from a Buddhist temple, that is from a stupa. A stupa would be a solid structure, but this was a hollow structure. A hollow means a circular temple. So their claim is, no, it was a Buddhist stupa, but Buddhist stupa can never be a hollow one because they don't know the basic difference between this one solid thing and the other thing. That was the difference. That was the problem with those people.
Great. So in lines to it, I think we had the ASI report of Jnanvapi also being brought out yesterday. Any comments on that?
Yeah. No, because I am of the opinion that these 3 places, that is one is already over, and Mathura, and again Jnanvapi, because these are as important for Hindus as Makkah and Muslims are Muslims. And if Makkah and Medina were in the hands of some other community, what would have happened to this one? I have gone to all these places because all these places were under me at different periods of time. With this one, Jnanvapi also. And Jnanvapi means the whole area. I'm talking, that is not a protected monument. And there is a book known as Mahasire Alangiri. That is the reminiscences of Alangir. Alangir means Aurangzeb. When he had, and it was written by Saki Mustaid Khan. When he had destroyed this temple, there is a reference about all these things. And you can go and see the whole thing there itself, Nandi is just looking at the temple, at the so-called mosque. And I have gone along with a number of Hindus. And I know what kind of feeling that Hindus would be having. It is an excruciating pain, from which they are suffering. Like a worm, if you are putting on the hook of a fish hook, how they would wriggle out, The soul of a Hindu wriggle outs like that one. So it is that kind of this one. So these 3 places, should be given by Muslim community. And the Hindus, they should also be very cautious. And they should stop the other group of people also from making a claim for this one more than that, or 3,000 or 5,000. That should not happen. Then it would be only a civil war. And even now, Hindus are also going, this has created a lot of problem, making a lot of unwanted claims that we had Pushpak Vimana at that time. Totally unscientific things, And there is even educated persons also. We knew surgery at that time. Without anesthesia, we knew surgery. We had internet at that time. Or even Taj Mahal was a Hindu palace. I mean, anybody who knows architecture, and they say that it is of 11th century. And 11th century, there was no arch here. There was no dome. And Taj Mahal's dome is a double dome, which came to India only after 1526, So this kind of extraordinary claim, unwanted claim, unfounded claim, now the Hindu community has also started making. But it's all because of this Ayodhya and this one, Gyanvapi issues. So let us come together, both the community. Some outstanding problems are there. Muslims should admit the fact that when they came, they have destroyed a number of temples. That is, I admit it openly, yes, they have destroyed. But that was a different century. It was a medieval century. And today's Muslims are not responsible for that. But I hold the present day Muslims also responsible for it the moment they try to justify that barbaric act of 12th century. Then I say that you are also equally responsible. And we should come to some kind of understanding on some of the important issues, that is these three. And Hindus should stop there so that we can bring both the communities into one single harmonious zone. And let us reconstruct a very stronger India. That is what we wanted.
That is a very socially responsible, a very, very responsible way of handling it. And I think you out of all should be the person to talk about the responsibilities that both the communities as stakeholders should take in this. And my last question from my side is on the conservation norms followed by the Archaeological Survey of India. I believe it was last updated sometime around the colonial times.
Yes.
And not much had happened after
Yes,
it.
yes, yes.
Though there are a lot of fake claims about traditional knowledge system, which involves, Pushpaka Vimana, this, that, and all. Coming from that domain, I think I can comment on the fact that we did have some textual works, scriptures on conservation of our own temples, which is more region specific, material specific, style specific, which is still valid because we still follow the same system. The material palette, spatial planning is all the same. So can there be some kind of a notion from the public or people who are responsible enough to request that these norms are upgraded at least now after almost a century now? And can we please get away with those manicured lawns around a temple like Rajarajeshwaram, the big temple, instead of Korean grass, occupying our temples and croton plants coming up there? Can native landscape systems be brought in?
Yes.
So how do we take this up? How do you look at this?
We'll have to speak to, because there is a additional conservation, director of additional conservation, Dr. Janvi Sharma is there. It should be taken up with those people. I mean, now bringing those Korean, this ones and other things, that is atrocious. And we should go for the native, this one, because lawn is very essential in order to keep up the dust. It should not go and it should not create a problem for the monument. So that way, you can compromise with the lawns. Although it is a British invention, we can compromise with that one. But not that Mexican grass, not that Korean grass, not the other things. There we have to stop it. So we'll have to find out a via media. We'll have to take up these questions, with Archaeological Survey of India. And Archaeological Survey of India, I often say that since the last 9 years, I mean during the BJP period, SI has gone down like anything. I mean, we expected a lot from these people that they will do it, but they did not do anything at all for the real conservation, although they are the biggest beneficiaries from Archaeological Survey of India.
I sincerely request you to probably take a step on this front also to try and see if the conservation can be decentralized from Delhi to more regionally responsible methodologies that can be adapted, because you have huge fan following, if I can say so, and there's a lot of media support, and somebody's voice like yours would probably take it front. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Can we take questions from audience?
Surely.
Thank you, sir. That was a really wonderful talk. My name is Anupama. I am a research scholar from IIT Madras. My domain is civil engineering, but I'm working on the masonry structures along the coastal area, like studying about the material properties. So coming from that background, I have one question. Was there any conscious effort of new material selection or something when this conservation work was going on, or older materials which were from on-site were only used for the reconstruction? Why that question is because when some pictures were shown, I felt some of the stones are pretty new without carvings, whereas the
Yes, yeah, yeah.
some
yeah.
of them were.
Yeah,
old.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I have one more question. Like,
Please limit your question. Then you can separately ask me.
yeah, sure.
So one thing is, because we take up. I mean, suppose something is missing, then we introduce there a plain one, a plain stone, which would not be having the carving, so that the next generation of people, when they come to the site, they can really understand that this was not the original stone. This is a new introduction. So that kind of arrangement we make it. I mean, taking up the conservation work. That is how we deal with the situation. And the rest of the the rest of the question you can ask me personally. We'll.
When we take any of the centralized bodies of governmental and non-governmental institutions, you'll mostly find this leftist intelligentsia dominating the
Yes.
entire organization
Yeah.
setup.
Yeah.
Uh, when I read most of the sketches of ASI in the initial ages, I don't find much of those kind of intelligentsia affecting ASI's functionalities.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
ASI has been spared from the left intelligentsia's impacts, do you think?
Now, Asia, because since it is a government organization, they are not coming out so openly like the leftist historians. Leftist historians, most of them are working in the universities. So there, I mean, they have got that freedom of expression is more in the universities and colleges. And by using that one, they were dominating the whole scene. And there were very few people like me who were, sometimes, replying to those people. But it was not because, we had that freedom. Sometimes, we used to encroach upon. People like me, we used to encroach upon, and this one, I mean, forcefully we did it. So we'll have to go for a kind of methodology in which, the government people, they should also come out. And the second thing is, we sometimes go overboard. Overboard means, with this kind of unscientific things, like Pushpa Vimana or surgery and other things, then those people will get an opportunity to mock us. And that is what is happening. We had the real scientific achievements of Varahamira and various other people. These are the real achievement in the scientific field made by the ancient India. But now even that is also being doubted because of this kind of unscientific this one claims made by this one. A person even went to the extent of saying that we had internet at that time. So what will happen? What will happen? And now he is a very important political figure also. You just cannot say. And even the Science Congress also has come under cloud now. So all these things, we should not go overboard, be scientific, and at the same time create a group of people who would be speaking for the country, for the interest of the country, but not for the superstitious interests of the country.
Thank you. I'm very glad to attend this talk, sir. I'm really happy to meet you in person and see the talk. Thank you very much, sir. And I am just a normal person. I don't have any background in history or archaeology. I come from a family of people who have been studying Sthapatya Kala.
I see. Arre wah,
Agama
very
Shastra.
good. Wah.
So my family for generations we have been studying Sthapatya Kala, Agama Shastram from Shaiva Vaikhanasa Agama.
I see.
So
Yeah.
that is my background. So when
Asha.
I'm seeing this temple restoration, you mentioned Agama Shastram and
Yeah.
you mentioned those mantras.
Yeah, yeah.
I'm very happy to listen that.
Thank
My
you.
question is that what is the role of this people who have traditional knowledge of Agama Shastram?
Yeah.
When you are doing temple restoration,
Yes, yes.
I know you are having a team of archaeologists,
Yes,
and
yes,
definitely you would be having knowledge
Yeah.
of these things.
Yeah.
But is there any role of traditional people who have been trained in these Agama Shastra, like
Yeah.
North Indian Nagara architecture,
Yes, yes.
South Indian Dravida architecture,
Yeah.
like that? There are traditional scholars who have been trained in these things.
Yeah.
Do we have any role in helping with temple restoration? Is there any chance we could join hands in restoring?
Yes, of
structures?
course, because, in North India, of course, in Gujarat, it's a living tradition. In Gujarat, it is a living tradition. In South India, in Tamil Nadu and in Andhra Pradesh, it is a living tradition. Partly in Canada, this one, Kerala also, it's a living tradition. But in the main part of the northern India, it is not a living tradition. So we have to train people. Of course, we have got this one, treaties are there. Treaties like, Samrangana Sutradhara is there. That was in 10th, 11th century. And before that, Mayamata was there. And then many other texts are there. So we are using all these texts for understanding these structures. And even for the different parts of the temples also, I have been using that one. And Samarangana Sutradhara is very important because in Madhya Pradesh and other area, Samarangana Sutradhara is used. But that was mainly from 10th, 11th centuries. These temples were before that one. So we had to follow this Maya Mada. So these are the way we are using. But unfortunately, there are no traditional houses as we have got it in South India. So that is the biggest problem. So I had to train the people also for that one. But if you people are there, to come to northern India, you are most welcome. There are many temple the works are going on, and we have to have that kind of this, interaction also between north and south. I am from Kerala only, not from, but I have become almost a North Indian. Yeah.
On that front, if I can add in, I think it's high time ASI, a body like ASI, also involves local public with traditional knowledge system. All of them cannot find place officially, in the payrolls of ASI probably, but having them as a team of experts, with some commitment towards restoration, will also strengthen their own belongingness, the love that they would have for the structure. I think ASI can start doing that for specific conservation projects, hiring local experts in the set fields, especially with rich traditional knowledge system like what she claims.
But you have to have that kind of ministers who have got a passion for the subject. And unfortunately, since the last 9 years, it is very poor, very poor.
I think every other problem boils down to that.
Yes, boiled down to that one.
Let's have the last question.
Vijayji, the great man, who has been doing a lot of great service. And we should give a special...
Sorry, it's like a fanboy moment. I've kind of rewatched your presentation, and every time it's like watching Rajni Starrer again, and I never want to miss a chance. My question to you, sir, is that, all of us who've been working with the system, and you more, having been in the system, I don't know how you managed to stay so long inside the system. But what is your advice? Because a lot of us get frustrated. Breaking our heads.
I'm totally frustrated now. Now.
Is there, like what Madhu asked, I really saw what Infosys had done. You think that is the way forward? Because Archaeological Survey of India, today we know the director is not even coming from the system. He's coming from parallel. So they don't have, as you said, any clue of what archaeology is. You think there is need for management to be separate from excavation to conservation? That's number one. Number two, I need somebody from your team to do something about the Kanji Kailasnathar temple and the pathetic restoration in the name of renovation that's done. And I know in the want of time, I'm only wondering how Vicky Kaushal is going to play you in the next biopic. Thank you.
Thank you, Vijayji. We'll have a personal discussion about all these things, because there are so many things involved. That is the biggest problem. Totally disappointed with the system. But during my time, I have been often breaking the systems, because that is the only way how you can function and you can deliver things. I have been often doing that one. I did not take permission from Delhi and other places. I used to have my own system and got a lot of land for the various monuments in different parts of the country. Once it goes to Delhi for permission, then it would never come. So I used to solve it at my own problem, at my own this one level. That is the only way it is possible.
So I'm sure all of you have many more questions, but for want of time, we'll have to end this session here. It is my honor and pleasure to thank Dr. Muhammed for coming down and enthralling us with his presentation. It is really heartening to see such wonderful work being done, by individuals who have gone beyond the call of duty to really restore our ancient heritage. Our thanks also to Masood for, we will have him over again for a different session. So we have not done justice to him. He is, full of knowledge, and I've heard him many times before. We'll have him over again. Thank the audience for having come over and stayed so long with such enthusiasm. We will meet again on the Shabri is the 7th, 9th, and that is on.
That is on data and fixed data.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mohammed. Thank you, Masood. It's been a wonderful presentation. Thank you.